Greetings, everyone, and welcome to our first day of this 7-day guided practice during Mahalaya. This is a practice to feed our ancestors. My name is Sucharita. For those of you who don't know me, wishing you all a very warm welcome. We had an amazing first session yesterday, so you're welcome to watch that recording here on Pillai Center Practice YouTube and get most of your questions answered. Now, some of you posted questions yesterday and I did get to them, so I will get to them today. And you can also post any questions that come up for you here on the chat. We have Bhairavi and also Arjun, who will be helping us out today to answer your questions and then to pass those questions on to me if they can't answer them. And I will do my best to fill in the gaps. So for those of you who are joining for the first time, that's okay. This is the first day of 15 days where we're going to be celebrating our ancestors. And what does that mean? Well, it can mean many things to different people. So yesterday we shared about, we asked a bunch of questions to our viewers and we said, hey, why do you think you are thinking what you are thinking? And that's not a philosophical question. It is an actual truth. So when we honor our ancestors, our thought patterns will shift. And why is that? Because our ancestors share our genes. So Dr. Pillai has coined the term soul genetics. Even though the ancestors are those who are no more here, they're not in the physical world, they've died, they've passed on. However, we can still be connected to them and in ways that may be helpful for us because we can get tremendous blessings from our ancestors. A lot of our ancestors were really successful and they were healthy and happy and they lived fabulous lives. However, somewhere down the line, there were ancestors who were not so happy, and perhaps they lived a miserable life. Now, it could be due to the conditions or the situations that they lived in during the times in which they lived in, just as you and I are experiencing COVID lockdown. It's a pandemic that's been going on for over a year and a half, and never before did I think in my lifetime that I would ever be having to lock down. Here in Toronto, Canada, that is. Some places, they're not in lockdown. So what does that say? Perhaps my ancestors were also in situations where there were wars going on and they were perhaps prisoners or perhaps even died during the war, being a soldier or someone in the military or someone who perished by not being able to dodge a bullet. So that's what we want to find out is during this Mahalaya Paksha, meaning this waning moon cycle, the waning phases of the moon are called Krishna Paksha. So the Paksha means what phase of the moon are we on? So what side of the moon are we on? Which phases? So the phase of the moon now is going from a full moon to a waning moon. And at this time of the year, according to the Vedic tradition, the tradition that Dr. Pillai hails from, the Tamil Siddha tradition, follows the Vedas. And that is a way of life, a way of finding the truth, a way of living beyond what we're experiencing as we are evolving according to our government regulations, medical regulations, health regulations, education regulations, and so on. Who are we and how are we doing in all of this that we are surrounded by and immersed in? So our ancestors could be pinging our genes inside of us. We share the DNA. Just take a look at your eyes. Yesterday we took a look at our noses. So who do your eyes remind you of? Are they your parents' eyes, your grandparents' eyes, your aunts or uncles? So someone in your gene pool has helped you to express that in your physical form. So your eyes, the shape of your eyes, the color of your eyes Maybe your eyesight, your vision quality could be inherited by your ancestors. And maybe your other siblings don't have that, or if you don't have siblings, maybe other members have different shaped eyes. So where do those come from? So just like that, the physical qualities that we inherit, we also inherit behavioral traits. Now that can be, just take a moment right now. What are your thoughts? What are the quality of your thoughts? What are the quantity of your thoughts? Are you racing? Are your thoughts racing? Or are you just totally gapped out and you can't even pick up a thought? Or are you thinking clearly about what it is that you want to manifest? And when you are going to be doing this offering momentarily with everyone here, because that's what we're here to do, is to do a group practice or a community practice of people from all around the world connecting to this tarpanam, this ancestral offering that we can offer to our gene pool. And then collectively, we can perhaps do something for the whole world. And that's what Dr. Pillai is all about. He wants you to do things that are going to help you individually on your spiritual path, as well as your material pursuits. However, we want to go beyond that even. We want to have a more joyful, a more purposeful life. We don't want to be stuck in what our ancestors are pinging us. So we want them to know that, yes, we honor you. Yes, we do know that your souls are suffering in some purgatory state or some state where you don't know whether to come or go from the earth plane. You haven't quite made it to ancestral realms where you can hang out and then enjoy what you couldn't do here on the earth plane. Because as we know, even though we have all these desires and we have all these dreams and wishes, are they fulfilled or unfulfilled? So when an ancestor dies, they have unfulfilled desires, but their offspring or their descendants carry that desire. And we don't even know why we're thinking those kinds of thoughts. So just take a moment now. The first day of Mahalaya Paksha, the energy that is available is to pray for wealth. So what are your thoughts around wealth consciousness? And how come you have those kinds of thoughts? Maybe you're totally opposite. You're going the opposite of what you were raised in, perhaps by your parents or grandparents or people in your life, your relatives, your siblings, anyone who's related to you or a close relation. Now, again, it doesn't have to be a biological connection. You can have been adopted, or you could have been someone who was raised by someone else. And that is because your soul chose that gene pool. Regardless if it's a biological gene pool, you chose it on some level to go in there and do what it is that you're doing. And perhaps now that we're on a spiritual path, we can do something to honor those ancestors that we chose to help out because they're stuck. So your soul may have journeyed along, you got on a spiritual path, it's doing okay in life, or maybe not, and it's trying to find out the reason why. And this is what happens with Dr. Pillai, is that people come for that reason, that they don't understand how it is that I'm praying, I am chanting mantras, I am meditating, I am participating in uplifting humanity in my work, in how I am in life, how I'm interacting with others, during charitable times in my life where I have had enough and have given more. So what is it that I am still not seeing that is going to help me to evolve, both spiritually and materially? So we have the 200% life concept that we haven't quite mastered, if even understood. Is that possible? So you're on the right track. And as Dr. Pillai has shared, that if you can feed your ancestors the tarpanam, so that's the offering to the ancestors, and it's simply black sesame seeds, and done in a heartfelt manner, in a way that is we've been given permission by the Tamil Siddha tradition. We don't have to be Vedic specialists or priests or even part of a tradition that does this type of offering, because no two offerings, even in the Indian tradition, are going to be the same. So Dr. Pillai calls this a spiritual science, in that you've got to try this out for yourself. You've got to explore using using your mind, body, your soul, your emotions, your intellect, your spiritual understanding of where you are as a soul evolving. You may be totally spaced out and you can't get grounded. Maybe you've had many lifetimes, and maybe in your lineage you've had ancestors who are priests or nuns or monks, and they've hidden themselves away during turbulent times or even during good times. They just wanted to immerse themselves in God consciousness. And maybe that's what's pinging you, that you don't want to do anything in life. And yet you've got responsibilities. You aren't that monk or that nun or that priest anymore. So ask yourself about wealth consciousness today, because this is the kickstart, the first of 15 moon days, where you can go inside easily. You're not looking outside and saying, oh, it's because of this person or that person, or it's because of the way I was raised or not raised, or it's because of the way I was educated or not. So we can always find those reasons why. But really, when we look internally, we become responsible. And what does that mean? We have the ability to respond to our own thoughts. So if there are thoughts or there are emotions or there are these ideas that you're not good enough, you're not educated enough, you're not beautiful enough or handsome enough, you're not connected, you don't have a network of people around you, you're disassociated with your family members. How many people on the spiritual path have been feeling that way for a long time? A lot of people. And then they realize they've got to come full circle and forgive perhaps yourself first and foremost, so that you can forgive others. But no way, I'm never going to do that. That's what we really feel inside. So you want to check out not only what your thoughts are around wealth consciousness. So it's not necessarily scarcity, like not having enough in the bank, or not having enough investments, or not having enough of significance in your life. For example, you get to the level of being promoted and someone else gets the promotion and you don't. And that happens again and again and again. So you're not good enough in some way. And you're thinking, why do I keep running into this? Or it could be that you have friends or family members that are opposing you, especially right now. Maybe you don't want to get vaccinated and they are. And then that causes a rift. So there's bickering and fighting. So do you feel healthy and wealthy and happy and wise? No, that's part of wealth consciousness too. So it disturbs your peace of mind. So if you are feeling when you ask the question, what are my thoughts? What are my feelings? What do I actually sense in my physical being when I say, what does wealth consciousness mean to me? What does building wealth consciousness mean to me? It can mean relating to people. In fact, today is also a great day to pray for marriages, beautiful, harmonious marriages. Or if you want a marriage partner, or you want your kid or some family member to have a married partner and they just can't seem to get it happening. And you almost feel like, geez, they're cursed or I'm cursed. And why do we say that? That's pretty strong, isn't it? However, the truth is that it could be, if you look in your lineage, in your mother's side of the family, your father's side of the family, somewhere down the road, if not all around you, marriage has been a big issue. Even if people are married, they're not feeling the love. They're bickering and fighting and screaming at each other, and the kids are suffering. Everybody's suffering, and yet they stay together. But you look at what happened in the generations before, you can see the pattern. So our ancestors give us we inherit their physical manifestations. So what we look like, maybe even how we dress, that's also a part of the behavior as well. You might be dressing the same way as your ancestors did, or have the same hairstyle or the same walk. I was told recently by my father that I walked like my uncle on my mother's side of the family. And that was very strange because that was an estranged uncle who happened to die in a park. And he was left alone and nobody knew where he was. He had been estranged from his own family. So he was a wandering soul. And perhaps that was getting expressed inside of myself. So I started to pray for him. And not that my mannerism of walking was different. It was a clue to me that perhaps he was revealing himself through my father's observation. And then I started to pray for him. And then find out, hey, he must be feeling better because that is something that was an intention that I had set. He was trying to communicate on some realm. So during this Mahalaya, this time of the ancestors, if you know of one of your ancestors who is in need and who is trying to communicate with you, you don't want to bring them to the earth plane, but you can pray to the divine. Hey, I'm going to offer this tarpanam, this feeding to that ancestor. And if he accepts, fine. If not, that's okay too. So you want those ancestors who are really struggling. And sometimes we will, throughout this whole 2-week period, if not thereafter, the ancestors will keep pinging us if we haven't fed them enough. So Dr. Pillai recommends do this every day. It may be the only thing that you do. You don't even have to pray or meditate or chant mantras or do courses or go on pilgrimages. That's really great for you, for your soul's evolution. But for your ancestors' soul's evolution, the tarpanam is the thing to do for the rest of your life, because it's not only going to impact your spiritual path, it will also impact your material pursuits, as I mentioned. So just take a look at marriages or divorces or multiple marriages, multiple divorces, and the kids and everything that's going on. Maybe not in your gene pool, but in people around you, in their gene pools, because those also can be your ancestors, people who are close to you, even people who work with you. How do you know? Because you'll say, oh my God, my boss is just like my mother. Or my father or whoever. And how is that? Your mother or father may have passed away. Well, their energy gets inside, and wherever you go, you will reflect that out, and you will see those qualities, those energies inside of you. And you'll feel like, oh, they're just like what my mother would have said to me. So that's a clue. Then do something about it. So participating during Mahalaya, feeding the ancestors, you want to be saying to them in general, 6 sides of the ancestor, 6 sides of 6 generations on my mother's side of the family, 6 generations on my father's side of the family. Dr. Pillai says, start out with that many, because those are the ones who are going to show up in your life for the rest of your life. That's why you want to pray to the ancestors. They're going to be all around you. Even if you've done funeral rites from a different tradition and you continue to do prayers and so on, this is a spiritual science that affects your own evolution. So when you do this offering, then you feel it, you know it. No one can say, no, that's hokey pokey. That doesn't, no, I don't think so. I think you're out of it. I think you're delusional. And you can say, okay, that's fine. And anyways, we don't really talk about our spiritual path with anyone else. It's so intimate. So you be the hero of your own life. You clean up your own life. With the help of the tarpanam, you will experience miracles, as I shared about my life in yesterday's call. So please jump on that. I had no idea what I was going to be sharing with everyone, just as I do every time I jump on these calls, because I've been asked by the divine to come and share what my journey has been with Dr. Pillai and everyone here at Pillai Center, Astroved, and all around the world over the past 25 years. And Tarpanam is, for me, the most powerful, if not the most rewarding and fulfilling thing that I could have done for all these years, and for my whole life, even before that. So it's a technology, it's a spiritual science. I come from a science and medicine health background. So to cleanse the body, to cleanse the soul, to cleanse the mind, to cleanse the spirit, that's health and well-being. And that is something that is going to help you to feel energized, to feel optimistic. Even when you have challenging moments throughout the day, how many of us feel like we're knocked down and we can't get back up? It's not easy. So the battle is perhaps what we've inherited. That battle consciousness is what we've inherited through the generations, because most of our family members, our relatives, those who have passed away, those ancestors, participated or were parts of world wars in these past 6 generations, at least. So it kind of makes sense that there's this competition, there is bickering and fighting, there is losers and winners consciousness, and it's pushed inside of us. You're not winning in life, you're not succeeding in life if you don't have XYZ. So that gives us that consciousness that we're not good enough. So that's poverty consciousness. We don't have enough, we're not acknowledged enough, we don't have enough certifications. Maybe we're certifiable or not certifiable, and that could be a good thing. So we can have thoughts that are going on that we are not well, we're out of our minds, or we can feel like we're depressed, or we can have even suicidal thoughts. And that can be ancestors who did actually commit suicide. And then we don't think, oh, we're not impacted by that. But why are we feeling so down? Why are we feeling so out? Especially during this time. So it's a heads up, these calls that we're doing together. Not only are we going to do the Tarpanam, but feel what you feel and notice what your thoughts are and journal it. So even though we're going to only come together for 7 powerful times of this Mahalaya Paksha, this dark side of the moon, where we go inside, 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 and we become responsible. We have the ability to respond. So that's what responsibility is that we have the ability to say, no, I am not going to think those thoughts. I get where they come from. And it is a battle every day in my life. I get knocked down and I have to get back up. Or I go outside and someone has a terrible conversation around me about COVID and about getting vaccinated or not getting vaccinated. And then you talk to your family members and it's just like, wow, this is just so not relevant to what I need to do at this moment in time. So what is your energy around your relationships? What are you thinking? Do you feel like you failed in that conversation, or you got knocked down, or you're not doing the right thing, regardless of which side it's on? That's not what it's all about. It's what you're feeling, what gets pinged inside of you. Could be that the ancestors who were on either side as well. So it's not, again, it's not about right or wrong. It's about how it is impacting you. And then what those thoughts or those interactions or those deep-seated feelings, emotions that are coming out of nowhere. And you're like, why am I getting triggered by this? And then you become sick and tired. And eventually you could become sick and tired. So disease of the body or disease of the mind can be inherited as well. And what does that do to you? It freaks you out. So we want to do this offering knowing that something is just not feeling right and I need to get clarity. So if you have that in mind, then focusing on what today's energy is all about, all the blessings that can come from the ancestors today, especially those ancestors who are like, yeah, this is what I did. So wake that up inside of you. The negativity seems to overpower everyone. So there are ancestors who are saying, hey, I'm in these great realms, these heavenly realms. You fed me so much with your spiritual evolution that now I can bear, you can bear the fruits by my help, because you're continuing to do this tarpanam throughout Mahalaya and thereafter. So some of the questions have been for people who have shared the questions yesterday. They were saying chanting a mantra while doing the meditation, is it, or doing this tarpanam, is it going to be helpful? Absolutely, because mantra means to protect the mind. So when you protect the mind from being bombarded by the negative thoughts, then what's going to happen with the tarpanam? Well, the ancestors are going to be coming and then going to be receiving it. They're in a spiritual, non-physical realm. So you can't see them with your naked eye, although you might experience the seeds jumping out of your hand, or you might experience some heat inside of your body. So take notice of those before and after thoughts. So before you do the tarpanam, as you're doing the tarpanam, and afterwards, what's going on. And that way, no one can negate, not even you. You won't be able to deny. That's your responsibility. You have the ability to respond to what is going on in that exact moment. And then oh my goodness, I connected with them. I don't know what's going to happen, but my intention was today, especially, I'm going to be thinking thoughts of praying for absolute wealth consciousness. And what does that mean to me? What does it look like to me? The answer may not come to you right away, but you might start to do things like clean up your space. In fact, that is the first and foremost thing that everyone should have on their mind right now, is to clean up your space, especially check in your house, the south or southeast part of your house, or sorry, southwest part of your house, because that's, according to the Indian tradition, where the ancestors' realm, directional strength in Vastu, the science of directional strength, is. So or it could also be in your office space. So the south or the southwest part of your living space or your office space, check that out. Is it cluttered? Is it dusty? Is it dirty? Are there big, dust balls the size of bunny tails? So you look at that and then you clear it out and give it some space, give it some room to breathe. And you will start to realize, whoa, I got to connect with the ancestors. So these are some of the tips that we're going to share throughout this 7-day guided experience that you're having, connecting with your ancestors, and then how they are communicating with them and how you're making space for them inside of your place. So clean up your whole space, but check the south and the southwest corners, or that direction. And then you will feel, whoa, what is going on as you're cleaning it up? Some of you might have garages in that direction of your house, or where your apartment is. And when that is really congested or cluttered, you feel like, I'm so dragged down. But if it starts to get cleaned up, and then you will start to realize, maybe you even store pictures or photo albums or things that you inherited that you don't really want, but you don't want to get rid of it. So your ancestors might be saying, hey, you've hung on to this for quite some time, so why don't you get rid of it? And then when you do declutter that space, and you can just start room by room, and perhaps your meditation room might be the first place you start, because some people have their meditation rooms in their storage rooms and spare rooms that have a lot of clutter. And that might be why you're feeling heavy during your meditations. So these are kind of things that you try out in life and then see how the ancestors are coming and communicating with you. Maybe you might feel you breathe easier. So, or feeling like the weight is off you. And maybe you might notice, especially today, when you're praying for harmonious relationships, especially marital relationships, or if you're looking for a marriage partner or a life partner, you might feel more uplifted. You might feel this harmony coming to you as you clean out that or declutter that part of your place. So the ancestors might say, hey, why don't you put some flowers there? Why don't you put a nice candle, some incense, and then clear? It's like a cleansing or a smudging of the space as well. So make space for your relationships to heal. Make space for you to ask for the ancestors to come in and reveal who that marriage partner is going to be. Because wherever you go, there you are. Even if you clear up your space and you still have these yucky feelings about relationships, it could be that your ancestors didn't have good relationships and then they're cursing. You're carrying that curse with you. So it won't matter how great you're doing things and the wonderful person that you are and all the fabulous qualities you have and all the love, and you're such a wonderful person, poor thing. So there's where the poverty consciousness is, right? Can't even find a marriage partner. Well, they don't want one. Okay, fine. But do you want to relate to other people? So it's not necessarily the marriage in the sense of having a family. It could be a marriage in a business partnership. You know, you're not marrying the person to go into business, or it could even be someone you work with for a long, long time. They feel like a marriage partner to you or a life partner to you. So don't get too caught up in the marriage as in the certificate that you would have. It's this marriage or this union of souls, and they're around and helping one another or fighting with one another for a long, long time. So marriage, wealth, health, all go together, and just take note of what your thoughts are around that and why are you thinking that. Could be your ancestors. So with that, we're going to now do the Tarpanam practice together. And I'm going to be just doing a quick review, very quick review. Although if you want a longer review, go hang out with that call yesterday. It's about an hour and a bit. And you'll get filled up with all kinds of goodies. All your questions will get answered. So we will add a mantra today that is going to help us to bring in clarity of wealth consciousness, what that is to you. So we're going to bypass all the ancestors for now, just in this moment. And we're going to protect our mind from being bombarded, whether our ancestors were super wealthy or not. We are just going to focus on the Tarpanam, and we're going to energize it with the mantra Shreem Brzee. Because as Dr. Pillai has shared, that is going to wipe out scarcity consciousness, poverty consciousness, not being good enough, not being beautiful enough, not having enough. Even if we do have enough, not feeling the love, not feeling satisfied, or feeling like I'm groping in the dark and I will never have it. So being dissatisfied at so many levels, right? We want to put in Shreem Brzee because that will protect us from having those thoughts, even if it is just for this offering. And what will happen is you will experience something. And I don't want to say what it's going to be because I'm going to invite you to share that on the chat afterwards. And then you just can see, OMG, collectively, there's a consciousness that overrode everything that any human being has ever thought, because we're from all backgrounds and we're from all different parts around the world. So here, even in and of itself, is going to be a mini experiment with the Tarpanam and how it relates to what we are experiencing as a community, as a global consciousness. So thanks so much, everyone, for participating today. You can be doing it at home while we're participating in the Tarpanam offering here. Or you can watch and observe, but you can participate in the prayers. So set your intention right now to receive wealth consciousness that's super clear and loaded with my manifestation as if it is already done. And if you don't know what that looks like in terms of with the fabulous house or car or relationships, the marriage, and you can't even think, oh, how's my marriage ever going to heal? Blah, 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 blah. Won't do it because of this, right? It's the never-ending story. So even ask yourself to just step outside of that whole observation and your whole experience up until this point in time. Just press pause and imagine the divine coming in and healing everything. So there's more harmony coming to you every day hereafter. And you may see it or you may experience it in times where you think, oh, it's just not going to change. But you're going to keep doing the Tarpanam. You're going to keep saying Shreem Brzee. You're going to protect your mind from being bombarded by it's never going to happen to it is happening, it is happening. And you will all of a sudden one day go, I don't know when it changed. It just did. And I'm just noticing that now. And praise God. Praise the God inside of you for never giving up or always remember that you are that God consciousness. And that God consciousness is asking you, do the Tarpanam without fail. You can't fail anyways because nobody gets graded. So even if you do miss a day, which if you decide, and this is a huge invitation and it's a serious invitation, because without it, I know in my life, things would never happen this quickly. And I shared about that on the call yesterday. So go listen to that story. And it's the truth. So the year-long Tarpanam, the Tarpanam offerings get done in multiple places, multiple power spots all around India, in these places that you couldn't even go to, even if you were there at the same time. So that's the beauty of studying with Dr. Pillai, is that we have a spiritual master who knows what our soul needs. Our soul doesn't need the body to do this. So we don't have to show up there physically. Our soul needs to be filled and fulfilled. And then we can, when we do our Tarpanam at home, tuning in to everything that gets done every day in multiple places every day on our behalf, feeding our ancestors. We can't go do it. We're not certified to do it that way anyways. So there are people who have their whole lives been trained to do this. And they have had many lifetimes to do this for humanity. So God bless us that we have the ability to get this done on our behalf. At this age and stage in our evolution and how we are in the world today, virtually is what is our reality. So make it to be real, respond at a deeper, subtler, and soul level. So that's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to experience. And you can check that out. So the links are below. You can check out the year-long Tarpanam or during the power times that are coming up, Mahabharani, Madhyashtami, and the new moon. Those are very powerful days that you can participate in those rituals that are offered through Pillai Center. So check that out, and it might resonate with you, those power days that, oh my goodness, if I could get the blessings from my ancestors on those days, that's a good start. And thereafter, so you will know, or you can participate in any of the Mahalaya services. The year-long one is what I've been doing for years. And now, after a tumultuous life, I can see all the changes across the board in the interpersonal relationships with family members, with loved ones, even with the souls, connecting with the ancestors on a regular basis, especially during new moon days. New moon means no mind. You're not thinking, is it possible? Is it not possible? It's not logical. Is it happening? You know. and then you feed the ancestors, and then you get blessings. So there are ancestors who are ready to bless us, and then there are ancestors who are struggling, and they just need what they need to navigate wherever they are. So a lot of them could be struggling, and that struggle is what you share. So wherever you're struggling in your life, chances are that you can see, oh, yes, the ancestors struggled in those areas of life. And I don't have to do that, even if it is for this practice. So without further ado, let's get into it. So by now, you have come and you're just in a space where you can participate in this Tarpanam offering. And for those of you who are new or need a review, this is what it's all about. So we have minimum black sesame seeds. These are what the ancestors need. Just like you need money, currency, the currency of your country to navigate whatever it is that you need. Get your resources, food, clothing, shelter, medicine. You need money. So the ancestors need the black sesame seed. And that's why we feed them that, because that's going to satisfy their soul. And it's going to help them to come out of harms and hurdles, and then help them to relieve themselves of your life story. So you can feel that transformation inside of you, that let go without having to think about it. So this is the spiritual science. This is maybe all you have is the black sesame seeds. And as I mentioned, you could have beige or the cream colored ones for now. But if you get the black ones, you'll notice the difference. So try it out. Anyways, so there's also this tray here. So you can add, if you have the black sesame seeds, again, don't need too much. And then you have this white rice powder that is recommended as a bump it up. Then if you don't have that, you could use the white rice grains. Now, you can either cook them or keep them raw. Dr. Pillai says they can be raw, only a few grains. If you really want to get into it, you can add darba grass, little pieces cut up. Now, darba looks like this. This is what it comes in, and then I've cut these into smaller strips. So usually they're really, really long strips, maybe like 18 inches. But these are, maybe about 6 inches. So you can use the darba grass, cut it up, and that's different from the durva. Durva is Bermuda grass. I'll just show you that because we're going to pray to Ganesha anyways. So this is durva with a V instead of darba with a B. A B. So this is durva or Bermuda grass. And this is what Ganesha loves. So I'll just hold on to this and give you a contrast. So you can see the difference there. Up close and personal. This is very stiff and hard. And this is lighter and more fragile. Both are dried and it's okay. You can offer it to as well. Put a little bit of water on it. This is the next thing you could do is offer tulsi seeds or leaves. Now these are, chopped up. There's the seeds there. There's some leaves there, the little branches. It's not easy to get these kinds of herbs here in Toronto, Canada. So Dr. Pillai has shared that you can have it dried out, and just, again, put some water. You're going to put water on anyways, the tarpanam. These are bilva leaves, and Lord Shiva loves these. So Vishnu loves the tulsi, and then Lord Shiva loves the bilva. And why those two archetypes? Because Lord Vishnu is all about wealth, consciousness, and he is an overlord of the ancestors. And then the bilva leaves are for Lord Shiva, and the bilva is what he loves to, when you offer it, then he will take away your karma. And then he will help your ancestors, their karma to get cleansed. That's the spiritual science. This is sandalwood powder. You can make it into a paste. In fact, we'll do that on the final new moon. We're going to do a big royal tarpanam. So if you can, explore the stores, the Indian stores or the stores around your place, maybe you can get sandalwood from Walmart. I don't know. Turmeric, definitely you can. This is turmeric. So this is for health and wealth. Can add that, a little bit of that. And then a coin. So any coin, any denomination. So what I've done is I've mixed it all into this container, because what you want to do is you want to have a shower before you do tarpanam. And if you haven't had a shower, don't stress out about it. At least wash your hands and maybe splash a little water on your face or spritz some water, brush your teeth. We're doing something to get out of mundane consciousness and get into a different realm, of a different way of accessing the spiritual realm. And as the old saying goes, godliness, cleanliness, they're one and the same. So you want to do something, a practice to cleanse yourself, and then you cleanse your soul on a subtler level. So this is what all those different items that I showed you look like. So you can have it in your shower even. So you have this, it's a waterproof container and it's sealed. So you take your shower, and then even before you jump out of your shower, you can take a little bit, put a coin on your right hand, which we're going to do. And then you can just put a little bit on the coin, and just that much. And then make sure that you have a shower catcher in the drain so that it can catch all these different items, because you don't want things to grow inside of your drains or clog your drains. So that is what you would do after or during a shower. You can also do it after a shower. And it doesn't have to be in your bathroom. It can be in your kitchen somewhere where you can wash things away. Could be in your puja room, and you make sure that you have a dish here like I have. So I've got this tarpanam offering here. That could be your minimum, just the black sesame seeds and the white rice powder. I think there are also a little bit of grains. So that could be that's what somebody could do, have access to. I put a little bit of darva grass in there as well, cut up. So minimum is the black sesame seeds. And that's what the amount that you would need. So not too much, right? It's not even a coin size amount. So you can have that, or we'll use the mixture that we mixed up already. So this is the black sesame seeds. Have it on hand. You can even mix it, put it in a bigger jar, or maybe half and half. So this is the white rice powder, just to remind you, so you see this visual. These two are the minimum. This is the minimum. These two together are what the ancestors really love. Or you can do the white rice grains. And you don't need too much. Very small amount. All right. So you can close your eyes right now and reconnect with your inner world. Be responsible. Your responsibility is to go inside and check your thoughts. You've thought about what wealth consciousness means to you, poverty consciousness means to you, scarcity consciousness means to you, not having enough. You don't necessarily have to go down memory lane and bend your brain or memory too much to figure out who you inherited this from. Everyone here on the earth plane has had generations of ancestors who experienced wars and continue to, perhaps, or you do. God bless. So wealth consciousness, and also relationship, marital relationship, or trying to find a life partner, marriage partner. What are your thoughts around that? What are your feelings? What are your emotions? And just notice what's going on inside of you. And don't judge it, just look at it as if it's some book that you're reading, just for this little bit of time. Your eyes are closed, you're going internally, and now we're gonna ask Anisha to remove the obstacles for a higher intelligence, your soul's intelligence, to move from the base of your spine up through all your chakras, up through the backbone, in your subtle body, your energy body. And this ray of light is going to shoot up through the top of the skull, and like an SOS, it's going to send out a signal to your ancestors. Hey, I'm going to give you this tarpanam. So be alert. Come and get it. This is what I can do to honor you, to honor me and everybody here on the earth plane. So just come, whoever you are, and let me know. So you feel this ray of light starting to come alive. And then we'll call on Ganesha to remove any negativity around you from experiencing something. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Nirvignam Kuru Kuru. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Nirvignam Kuru Kuru. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Nirvignam Kuru Kuru. Now focus your attention in your heart center. Imagine your heart expanding across your chest. Just imagine it. Even if you don't feel it, you can imagine a heart moving across, expanding across the whole chest. Big, wide open heart. And then move your attention into your third eye, into the middle of your brain. Imagine an opening, a doorway, a portal, if you will, that allows space for you to experience a communion with your ancestors, a connection. Some energy is coming, or a message, or a vision. Or it could just be peace, an experience. Dr. Pillai appears before you in a form you're familiar with, or a light, a vast light, radiating a spiritual energy that will diffuse any blocks you have to receive the blessings through this Tarpanam practice. Today, be a human sponge and soak up the light in your eyes. Your eyes might be burning with the light. The eyes are the windows to the soul. Cleanse. Receive light in your ears. As the light enters the eardrums, you might feel a pop or a pressure or some sense that the light's getting into the inside of your head through your ears. A beam of light enters your mouth and lights up the tip of your tongue, middle of your tongue, and the back of your tongue. Even the tongue disappears in the light. Your mouth expands with the light. Maybe your cheeks feel like they are puffing out with the light. And then light moves up the nostrils, cleansing the air you breathe in. And then the light pierces the forehead, activates the pituitary, the pineal, then a beam of light pierces the top of your skull from above, enters your brain, activates the midbrain, the third eye, the portal. Now allow that light to pour down into your heart. Your heart fills up with the light, it expands, you release light all over your body, down your arms and hands and fingers and down your legs and feet, cleansing all the DNA. In the cells of your body, from head to toe, you're filled with light. Reconnect with the image of Dr. Pillai, the light inside of you. And slowly, slowly open your eyes, gazing towards the altar, or if you're at home, you're doing this at home, you can begin. Your Tarpanam offering, you can have it in your right hand, facing the south direction, or southwest, even east is fine. Or whatever direction that your tradition has raised you in, that can be fine too. This is the direction of the ancestors. So you can experiment with it as well. Move around till you feel that's it. Once you're in that direction, right hand over top of a bowl or the sink, put the coin on top of the mixture. Take a little bit of water and pour it on top. Now, take your left hand underneath the right hand and close your eyes. Reconnect with the light inside of you, the ray of light shooting up into the space, connecting with your ancestors. Om Dram Dattatreya Shiva Baba Namaha. I offer this Tarpanam to 6 generations on my mother's side of the family and 6 generations on my father's side of the family. Accept this offering. Any ancestors who need to accept this offering, come and take it. Please forgive me for not honoring you regularly. I didn't know, and now I do. Please help me to come out of my harms and hurdles as you will be helped with this Tarpanam to move into higher states of being. Connect with those ancestors who are evolving and can help you to evolve. Feel. Feel your ancestors taking the offering. Om Dram Dattatreya Shiva Baba Namaha. Ask for forgiveness. Forgive them for any wrongdoings that they had experienced in their lives during their lifetime. Om Dram Dattatreya Shiva Baba Namaha. Feel. Feel what's going on inside of you, in your heart, your third eye, your body, your thoughts. Now, with the water in your left hand, pour over the Tarpanam offering with the coin in your right. Shreem Brzee. Shreem Brzee. Shreem Brzee. Shreem Brzee. Shreem Brzee. Shreem Brzee. Rinse off all the tarpanam off the hand. You can take the coin out, put it off to the side and reuse it. And then you can continue to chant Shreem Brzee and pray for wealth consciousness. Pray for whatever it is that you want, as if it's done and it's been blessed by the ancestors. Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee. Now, once you've dried your hand off, you can put your hands together in prayer. Thank you for accepting the offering, ancestors, 6 generations on my mother's side, 6 generations on my father's side. Be at peace. Move into heavenly realms. And bless me and all the descendants here with peace, prosperity, enlightenment. And especially today, please help me to experience prosperity, financial wealth, health. Come out of my problems. Bless me with harmony in my relationships, or help me to attract a beautiful life partner or marriage partner. Peace, peace, peace. Feel what's going on inside of your hands, in the palms, in your body, in your heart. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. And you can just end the process, or if you want to continue on at home, you can go ahead and do that. You can offer it many times until you feel that they're satisfied. And then with the offering, you can put it down, either down the drain, but have a drain catcher. So then you can discard the seeds and whatnot in the organic waste or in the garbage, trash bin. Put it in your garden. This is where that's going to go. It's going to go in my garden. So that's it for our practice today. If you want to stay and ask your questions, you can do that, or share your experiences. You're welcome to do that as well. And let us know if this has been helpful for you to experience a deeper understanding or connection to your ancestors, and then what happened in your life thereafter. So thanks for joining, and we'll see you on the 4th moon, which is for Mahabharani, and that's going to be happening on Friday, same time. So we'll see you then. Okay, so I have some questions here from yesterday. So I'd like to respond to those questions. Somebody's saying, is it best to do the Tarpanam in the morning? Yeah, so Tarpanam, as we mentioned yesterday, is done between sunrise and sunset, wherever you are in the world. So you want to do it after you take a shower, and then after sunrise. And then anytime up until sunset. So even if you are working and you get up and you go to work before sunrise, and then you can't do the Tarpanam at home, you can take it with you and do it in a parking lot. I used to do that when I worked downtown. So and also traveling, I take it wherever I go, because you don't need too much. But doing it, you set your day right. So that's, yeah, morning is good, but up until sunset is fine. Try it out. I mean, some people really experience a shift, and you can also ask your ancestors to bless you with whatever it is that you want help with in that particular day. So it's not something that you want to manifest so much as, hey, I've got this meeting coming up. Can you just make it peaceful and harmonious? And if it's not, then, you know, maybe it'll get rescheduled, and that happens too. So the ancestors will work their way around. They'll work their magic for you. They'll help you to come out of harms and hurdles that you can't imagine. So someone else asked, many Indian origin Mauritius are suffering from ancestors' curse since they don't honor them. And that's unfortunate, isn't it? As Dr. Pillai says, it's really unfortunate that people have gotten away from God. So that's okay, because that's their soul's evolution. We don't want to get too caught up in it or judge it in any way. That's what the soul wanted to experience, perhaps. And then it's attracted to that place where it can experience separation from God consciousness or curses or whatever. So, and not honoring the ancestors. So what do you do about that? Well, you can choose to move away from it, and you're challenging your karma. And that's what Dr. Pillai has said, regardless if it is a place that is praise to God or not, or does Tarpanam or not, or honoring the ancestors or not, you can, you know, you learn how to navigate. It's like the ancestors are guiding you and saying, hey, you should be here now, and trust that you're getting blessings. So yeah, the suffering that's the first noble truth from the Buddha. Life is suffering, and suffering happens everywhere. And then how you navigate is by getting these blessings, getting the blessings from the ancestors, because maybe they are suffering and they're causing that person or those people to stay stuck in that place, to really have to challenge the karma. And it's not really too difficult if you do the Tarpanam. You'll find a way out. Someone is saying here, can I do Tarpanam for my husband's family or just for my family? If you're married, you can do it for your whole family. That's part of your lineage. So definitely you can pray for your husband's family. But then again, even if you pray for your kids or your husband or wife, they have their own karma. They got their own soul's journey. So you're just trying to make it so that the ancestors are going to be supporting you and supporting your ability to manifest and be prosperous and healthy and happy. But whenever you do something for your family, definitely those people will be impacted. Trust me. It has happened to me over the years, and never in a million years did I think it would ever happen. So the tarpanam is the secret sauce, and then some. I've been doing this tarpanam since last year. I feel connected and happy and very grateful. Gratitude. Beautiful. Someone is saying, can it not suffice with the daily tarpanam I do on my own? Or what is the main reason I should make the investment to purchase the yearly tarpanam? It's a good question. I started out with doing the daily tarpanam because that's what Dr. Pillai introduced me to, and a few of us many years ago in India. He said, okay, you're going to do this, feed the ancestors. We're like, what? We were really like guinea pigs, experimental rats. And so he said, okay, do this every hour during Mahalaya, day after day after day. And so we were staying in the guest house, and we were staying in separate rooms. And so we would go out every hour. I could see my friends going out of their door to do the ancestors, because in India, you can do it right in the garden. And you don't want to clog the drains. So it's best to do it outside. So we were doing it outside, and each hour that went by, there was so much going on. And so yes, you will have an effect, but did transform my life like the year-long tarpanam has? It was a start, and that was all they had. And then when the MAHA tarpanam came, Mahalaya came, and then the year-long tarpanam, I said, oh, I'm going, and I didn't go to the basic one. I went right to Royal Plus, or whatever it is now that I'm in, the big tarpanam that is done every day. And it's a monthly payment. So it's just like paying a bill. You just put it on the monthly payment, and it's better than buying a bag of groceries that you're going to eat Dorito chips because you're feeling bad, So it helps you to actually lose weight. We'll get to that. But tarpanam helps you to take the karmic weight off you, and literally you look like you lost weight. You look fresher. You have brightness in your being, regardless of your age. So that to me was awesome, because I was suffering from a chronic disease that they couldn't diagnose, and they didn't have a good prognosis, and my energy was going down. And Dr. Pillai said, it's your ancestors. And I said, I don't understand this. And what am I going to do about it? And he said, you can't do it on your own. You've got to get these guys to do it for you. So that's the answer to that question. Yes, you can do it on your own, but the return on your investment is going to be 1,000,000-fold. Like never before would I have come out of this disease. Never could I imagine. And even the doctors, oh, wow, you're like a miracle, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, okay. But that's because the ancestors were really disturbed and hanging upside down, and all kinds of crazy things going on with my gene pool. I had a vision in one of my deep, deep meditations, and I shared it with Dr. Pillai. And I said, I had this vision of this tree, of these black souls. And that the whole tree was full. Not one was like a bright, shiny thing. And I was scared out of my mind. I said, what? This was many, many years ago. And I said, is this my fate? Is this my destiny? He said, yeah, it could be. You have a lot of bad ancestor karma. So I said, well, I have to do whatever it's going to take, because I come from a science background, and experimenting with anything in life, you can only go to so far. And then you say, what else is there? If that's not working, what else is there? You can't give up, at least not for me. And I couldn't take no from for his answer either, because Dr. Pillai at some point, he said, oh, it's not going to work. I said, what? It has to. We have to find another way. I have to find another way. And then I prayed and prayed and prayed to the ancestors. And this is years later. And then I had a naughty reading, and the naughty said, okay, you still have residual problems with the ancestors. Okay, what is it now? So you're so lucky. We're so fortunate now because the trail has been blazed, so to speak. And then you can just try this. You won't ever regret it, ever. So you can try and do, do what you can do. Nobody's saying, oh, don't do that. Because I cried when I couldn't afford the first time to go to do Mahalaya and do the year-long program. It was very expensive for me at that time. I couldn't budget it. And I just cried and cried, and I couldn't do it. But I just did the TARPANAM daily. And then money came. And the money came as almost exact amount that it would have been for that TARPANAM Mahalaya that year, the year before that I couldn't do it. And I said, okay, this is going to the TARPANAM now. And the money has been there to even do the Royal Plus, whatever it is that I'm on. I say to Vinod at Asherwood, I go, put me on, get me in there. He goes, oh, good, because it just expired. Your TARPANAM ran out, your year-long TARPANAM ran out. And I said, okay, what is there now? And he said, okay, this is the highest one. I said, get me on that list. So it is worth, the return on your investment is $1 million. You can't even, it's priceless, but you can't imagine your life changing and everybody in your life changing. So can do the TARPANAM as to your ability, as to your budget. Although if money comes, it's your ancestors saying, feed me. And then the beauty of the year-long TARPANAM is you can join at any time. Doesn't have to be just during Mahalaya. So that's the answer to that question. How do we know when our ancestors have moved on? It's a good question. Like I said to you just recently, my dad said to me something about my mother's brother. And he was a guy who drank himself and did drugs and smoked to death and was in a park. When he died, he was found. And I didn't know him. And he was also suffering from mental illness, which was rampant in our gene pool. So that was something to, explore. Okay, maybe he needs some more. And so how do you know that they've moved on? They've obviously they've moved on from the physical realm. They're not here anymore. However, they keep pinging us and they keep giving us clues. So it could be through you want to smoke or you want to drink during this time, or you want to eat a bunch of comfort food, right? And you're just like, why do I have this craving? So that could be it too. Especially if in your lineage, there's addictions, or you want to go out to the bars and have sex with everybody. This can be ancestors who had sex addictions. Maybe you did too at some point. So it's not about judging. It's just about, okay, you can do something to clean this up. You don't have to feel like, oh, this is good or bad or be judged. This is like, is it harming you in your life, or is it creating harmony in your life? So that's how you know they will move on. Just when you think they did, maybe they haven't completely. Then do more TARPANAM, do more prayers for them. Can my son do TARPANAM for his maternal and paternal grandparents? I used to do TARPANAM on new moon days for the past years. Now this is your life. This is your ancestors. That's on the spiritual path. So if you want to have those kinds of the relief, then you have to relieve them of the suffering. And this is how you can do it. What if you don't like some of your ancestors? Well, trust me, I had a whole tree of these black souls. And now they're all sparkling and shining. Maybe some of them are a little brown. I don't know. I never had that vision anymore. Because it was like something that I just didn't even want to explore. I just wanted them to, wanted to continue to help them. And maybe I'll have a vision of it. But so if you didn't like them, that's a tough one because, again, it's why you? Why is your soul coming at this point in evolution of your gene pool along this lineage, at least 6 generations. You popped in, and who are you really? Well, you're part of all of that. So maybe you don't like yourself. Ask yourself that. What if you don't like yourself? And that's really what it is, right? There's things that we don't like about others. It's things that we don't like about ourselves. So what to do about it is start doing the Tarpanam. It will bring you self-esteem, bring you forgiveness. I shared yesterday. I never thought ever that I would speak to my father, who was over 45 years of not speaking with him. And he's 90, and he was going to have some heart surgery, and he may have lived or died from it. So we came into contact, my sister and I, one of my sisters and I, reluctantly, but we just said, okay, we got to figure out what's going on with this person. And, he reached out. So fast forward, from maybe like a year ago, it's something that I never thought would happen. He's 90. He's chosen not to do the surgery. And he says, I'm just so happy. I'm grateful that you both are, speaking to me, and you've forgiven me. And we couldn't believe that we forgave him either. So all that stuff just goes away, when you are doing this Tarpanam. It erases it all. It doesn't make it to be charged. So if you think you can't forgive, or you hate, and you say, no, I don't hate, I couldn't hate. Oh, not me. I'm goody two-shoes. If you don't like some ancestors, then there is something deep, deep inside. And it's not you, it's that energy. And then it gets expressed as hate or depression or whatever, anger. How are the ancestors anymore? Once someone passes, they reincarnate and no longer exist as the old self. Well, the soul keeps coming. It's unfulfilled. It's not satisfied yet. If it keeps coming back to the earth plane, it's got some unfinished business. And maybe you're exploring that too. Why did I pick this family? Why did I pick this gene pool when I was there? Or how come it is feeling like deja vu? Because you decided, okay, I'm going to learn some karmic lessons. So give me some big curses, give me some black magics, mix some really tragic suffering in there too, and make it long and drawn out, like over a lifetime, so that I figure out a way. So maybe some of us have experienced that, even on the spiritual path. Remember, saints are sinners who never give up. Sinning means you just missed the mark. You haven't gotten quite there. And to be a saint, I suppose, I don't know, they usually canonize them when they're gone anyways, not while they're here. So it can be that you've evolved to that point of spiritual evolution where you're just here to be of service to humanity, and you don't attract any karma. You're shiny all the time. Can we pay for full package in installments? Yeah, you can go send an email to office@pillai.com. I think that's all the questions that I had from yesterday. Let me just take a look here. So it sounds like people are getting responses from Bhairavi in the Pillai Center practice yellow banner. So someone is saying here, I watched the replay. Happy to share the space with you once again. Oh, hi, Katina. Yeah, so make sure that you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell, because then you'll get the alert. Even though we know, oh, okay, I'm going to come. What was that day again? So because we're not coming every day at the same time every day, we are coming the same time. It's on 7 different days. And those are the power times. So Mahabharani is the 4th moon. 8th moon is Madhyashtami. Then we're going to be coming together on the 9th moon, which is the moon for praying to Lord Yama, the god of death, who takes care of the ancestors. And then also the 13th moon, Pradosham. And then the new moon is a couple of days after that. And that is the grand finale. So not too many days. to come and participate and get the group energy, get the blessings from Dr. Pillai. Why do we think what we think? Because of our ancestral connection, because of our soul genetics. Oh, okay, that's probably what I said. So Eva's saying here, I watched yesterday and then did Tarpanam. I noticed much less negative thinking this morning when I woke up. There you go. So monitor your progress by keeping a journal, even if it is just during this Mahalaya, this time period where you're connecting with the ancestors. And you only have to do the Tarpanam once, although some people do it like 108 times, or they take all the ingredients down, the items down to the water's edge if they live near the ocean or a lake or a river. Do it discreetly so you don't get interrupted, and because you're going to be in a spiritual space and you're going to feel there's going to be things that are going on naked to your eye, the naked eye. You'll, but internally, or some sense that something is going on. So you want to be discreet if you are going outdoors in public, or do it during times when nobody's around. Stephanie's saying, oh my God, this is amazing. Oh, great. Not sure which part, but great. Katina is responding to someone here, and I just wanted to say this out loud. It's a great acknowledgement. Thank you, Katina. When you can tell, it's when your mind has changed and and they no longer affect you. So how do you know when you've had a shift? How do you know that your ancestors are appeased? So this is what Katina is saying. You can tell it in your mind, it's changed, and then they no longer affect you when you've had a shift where your feeling of sadness or depression or karma is not there. You can think about your ancestors. Like I think about my mother, who was schizophrenic, and she was also wandering around my whole lifetime and ended up, thank goodness, in a care home somehow. But I was estranged from her since pretty much birth. And then my uncle, when I found out he was a wanderer too, that was our ancestors, that they were wandering and estranged from their families. So it gets expressed, passed on through the generations. And if I look at it in my life, I'm totally the black sheep of the family. That saying goes. We're so different in wandering, trying to find the answers, trying to find a way out of the harms and hurdles that I was always being challenged by, no matter what I did. I did all the right things that society said to do. And the family relationship said, you must do this, and to be successful, you must do this, to be happy, you must go here to experience whatever. And it was just like, it's just not it. It's just not it. So when I stumbled across Dr. Pillai's teachings, I was just like, my jaw was on the floor, because I'd never been taught this. I'd never understood that the answers are all within. But you've got to get some tools to access that, and then take care of all these other things that are going on. So this is all what we're here to share, is that try it out for yourself. And it's not about believing in this, that, or the other thing, or having no belief. You believe it when you do it, because you believe it when you see it, right? It's kind of after the effect. So if you're kind of that point in your life where you're just kind of confused, and it's a big head scratcher that doesn't go away, like, why? Why me? Why is this always happening? Then try this out during this time, because this is the period of time where you get a lot of insights, and then you will start to write it down, and then you will feel, oh, I used to be triggered by these people, or triggered by the thought that I was related to these people, or God, I hope I don't become schizophrenic, or depressed, or commit suicide, or why am I having these suicides? Just go feed your ancestors. You have the tool then. You have that knowingness. And then, forgiveness was a huge thing. Trust me, it was huge for me to say I forgive that beastly guy who's my dad. And he even says, I don't know how you can forgive me. And I said, I don't either. But let's keep carrying on. Let's go have some fish. or go down for a walk in the water. Happy that you're here. Happy that you didn't, decide to check out, and that we're making use of this time that we have. Because this is the life. When it's all said and done, what is the life of the soul? You just want to say, I was satisfied. I didn't have to come back and try that out again. So I'm happy to share that that's possible. And it might be faster for all of you because, again, the trail has been blazed. These programs are there. These services are there. So you can experience it much faster than me. So we've come again to the top of another hour. And I think I've gone through all the questions and the comments. And thank you so much to Bhairavi and also Arjun for posting the support on the chat, and for all of you for sharing your experiences, because that's what's going to help people to raise their awareness, raise their consciousness. And especially today, may all of you receive blessings from your ancestors of prosperity and wealth consciousness and being not just good enough, but you're awesome. You're your highest expression of your ancestors who are in beautiful realms, and they're saying, hey, I'm going to pump in heavenly thoughts into you. And so clear your space out before you do your tarpanam. Take a shower. Your tarpanam only needs to be one offering. You can do 6 generations on your mother's side first or your father's side first, and then pause a little bit, feel what you feel, say your prayers, then do the opposite again. You can repeat it how many ever times it is for you, or you can set a goal. Say, hey, I'm going to do 9 times today, 27, 108, whatever. Maybe it's your ancestors that are saying, whoa, you got to get going here. Maybe you want to do it every hour like I did when I first started. If that works for you, try it out. You make use of this time, and whatever effort you do is not going to be refused by the end. They're going to be like, yeah, that was awesome. So don't grade yourself or don't beat yourself up if you think you did it right or wrong, or even if people say, well, I'm getting the year long, so I'm not going to do it. Then you're kind of detaching from it. So the more you get into it and you're grateful someone is in India doing it on your behalf, and you can tune in while you're doing it, whoa, then you know, yes, I'm a part of this process and this is for my soul, but I need to feel it too. And I need my thoughts to change, and I need my actions to change, and my behaviors to change. So try it out. All right. So we've got, Arjun is going to collect all the chat, and then I'll take a look at it tonight. And then I'll respond to any questions that were unanswered. Or if you do have questions, send your email to office@pillai and we'll be happy to assist you further. So if you're exploring a course in soul genetics, we have one on Pillai Center Academy. I talked about it yesterday in that recording. Watch that recording. And then you can jump into that course. It's a self-study right now, but it's got some tremendous teachings, and you get initiated by Dr. Pillai. Once again, he doesn't have to be there physically. You get the blessings through you being initiated through his teachings, and then doing the practices every day after. Then you fit it into your day, however that is for you. No hard or fast rules. But during this Mahalaya time, you might want to explore getting initiated into the realm of the ancestors, your ancestors, through the soul genetics course. So God bless you all, everyone. Thank you so much for participating in this global experience, and may all ancestors around the world, everybody from around the world, all the descendants, may they somehow wake up to even a prayer or a thought for their ancestors, and then maybe stumble across some tarpanam where they can help to relieve the souls who have really, really suffered over lifetimes in the generations before us. So let's just keep it going and see what happens with the grace and blessings of Dr. Pillai. May all ancestors be at peace, and may we experience heaven on earth in this lifetime. We'll see you on Friday, same time, for Mahabharani. Take care and God bless. Namaste.